Right, I just finished playing in the worst Duelist Cup in the worst format in Master Duel history, which is kind of funny because it feels like I say this every Duelist Cup. Just every format in Duelist Cup, it just gets worse and worse. But I mean, you probably don't need me to tell you how bad this format is. I mean, you've probably heard it from literally everyone else, and you've probably said it yourself. So that we don't need to spend as much time just ranting about how awful right now the Master Duel situation is. But yeah, how did I do? Well, here, actually let me just show you. So, you notice I'm at like 35k. Okay, so let's just scroll down. So let's scroll down a little bit, and whoa. What is this? What is this? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10 in a I lost 10 in a row. I was in the 40Ks. I was like doing okay. I had a chance to get the 50K, which would get me close to top 100, and then I just lost. I got absolutely fucking destroyed. I must have been a criminal in a previous life, and this streak here is just like God punishing me for like deservedly so, apparently, because what the yeah. So basically, I it was over after that stretch. It was pretty much over. I kind of just gave up a little bit. Yeah. So anyways, on to some interesting stuff, because I can't offer you anything interesting as a good player, because clearly I'm not a good player. Good players don't go on fucking what is this? Good players don't go on 10 double-digit 10-game losing streaks and then get fucking washed out of the Duelist Cup. But yeah, I kept track of every single game I played, so I'm gonna throw up the stats that I recorded, and like we can go over the interesting bits. So first off, I want you to direct you towards the part where it says the unknown deck, the decks where I categorized which decks I played against. Maliss, Ryzeal, blind second decks, which I expected to be more popular, but they, as you can tell, they actually weren't that popular. Other various Gemini decks, I thought Gemini decks would also be more popular, like the Mjolnir locking stuff and like the Search Fossil Nine and Normal Summon or Gemini Tier, all of that stuff. I thought those would all be more popular. That was not the case, as you can tell. It was just mostly Maliss and Ryzeal, and yeah, and then anything else, which is like stuff like Branded, Labyrinth, or any random stuff, Gimmick Puppet, whatever that's not listed there is I just grouped that into one category, which is like every other deck in the game. And then there's like a fifth category of decks that I classified as unknown, because well, fifth or sixth category, sorry, the last category of decks that I kept track of was unknown, because I did not know what my opponent was playing. The reason I did not know what my opponent was playing was because I would go first, and then my opponent would leave before they even pass back to before it even passed back to their turn, before they got a chance to play any card that wasn't a hand trap. And most of them didn't even play a hand trap. Most of the people who left, like, I normal summoned Dormouse, and my opponent would just immediately leave. No, like, frame one. Okay, that happened 85 times. 85 of my opponents just left immediately before they even got a chance to play a card. I played 400 games. Nearly a quarter of my games resulted in my opponents leaving almost immediately. I cannot say anything more. I don't need to say anything more to prove to you how awful of a format this is by just saying that stat out loud. Okay, a quarter of my games were just people leaving. Okay, and that was just like the games that I went going first. I didn't keep track of how many games I left. Maybe I should have kept track of how many games I just left as well, because I definitely left a fair share of my games too. I would wager that maybe about like a third of my games were either me or my opponent just leaving immediately, turn one, without playing any cards. That is something needs to be done about that. That's simply not okay. This is the most competitive event in the entire game. You have the best players playing here, and the best players are deciding that it's not worth their time to try and play through the duel. It's not worth their time to even let it go to their turn. Like, it's so bad. I don't think it's ever been this bad in any format, even close. This is unbelievable. So yeah, onto the so like after we got through like after the unknown stuff, I can go over like my win rate and stuff. Like my total win rate going first was 65%, win rate going second 40%. It's about like, I mean that's pretty standard, honestly. That's another big problem with Master Duel is that, but just by winning a 50-50, just by flipping a coin, something that you have no control over, you can just gain 25% to your win rate, just like that. Snap. Like it's so stupid. And like that, I'm not even mentioning Maxi because you already know Maxi factor into the equation. Maxi just introduces even more non-games, because there are non-games where the person going first gets Maxied and then they can't do shit, and then the opponent on turn 2 normal summons Maliss, and then the person that got Maxi turn 1 also leaves. So yeah, maybe half my games I would out of like all 400 games I played, maybe around half my games at least were pretty much just non-games. Yeah. So, and then to get on to like what the meta actually looks like, to like the kind of decks I played against, as you can tell, okay, out of 400 games, 400 opponents, but we'll remove like the 92 people that I didn't actually know they were playing against, because like there were like, the 85 people that left turn 1 when I went first, and the 7 people who bricked going first, they're on their who bricked going first and then left immediately when I played a card. Like that's about 92 people. We'll exclude those 92 decks. So basically 407 minus 92 is 300 and holy shit, math. 305 decks. So did I do the 407 minus 415 decks? Okay, Jesus Christ, my brain is shot. So like around like 315 decks. Holy shit, I'm so stupid. My brain is fried. Around 315 opponents. Okay, 124 of them were Maliss, 107 were Ryzeal. That's actually a pretty close spread. Like people thought Maliss would be dominating. It's a tier 0. Well, it's not. It's a tier 0.5. It's like Spellbook and Dragon Ruler format. There's 2 obvious best decks. Maliss and Ryzeal make up 2/3 of basically all decks being played, and then everything else is just literally everything else in a separate group, basically. So yeah, 2/3 of the meta is Ryzeal and Maliss, and Maliss, God, like you know how hard it is to prep for both Maliss and Ryzeal decks. The cards that are good against Maliss are not good against Ryzeal. The cards that are good against Ryzeal are not good against Maliss. I'm gonna be drawing I'm drawing Lancia versus Ryzeal and Droll versus Maliss all freaking day, and it's not like, and what are you gonna do? Are you gonna not run good cards against Maliss or not run good cards against Ryzeal, even though they suck against the other one? Yeah, that's another thing with this format. So yeah, that's what I gotta say. This is boy, the ban list cannot come quick enough. But honestly, I'm not even expecting much, because the ban lists have been fucking terrible in Master Duel for this entire year. So like, why am I even getting my hopes up, anyways? Like, whatever. So yeah, onto the deck I played. So I mean, it's no surprise. It's fucking Maliss. This is it's just Maliss. I mean, I don't need to spend too much time on going over this deck, because you guys all know this by now. I will say, if I had a chance to repick my deck, to re-practice a deck for the Duelist Cup, it would not be Maliss. I would be playing Ryzeal, specifically Magista's Ryzeal, which you will see. I think the first play is actually won with Magista's Ryzeal. The reason why I would play Ryzeal is because Ryzeal doesn't get fucking blown out by this fucking card. I lost dozens of games to fucking Lancia and Lancia alone, and I had nothing. There's nothing I could do. I didn't open Called By, I didn't open Crossout, and I didn't even open a backup Mister to be able to do something under Lancia. So because of that, I couldn't play the game for those games, and I just it was just over. Like I just lost a huge amount of games where I just had literally no control over. Beyond just the Max C mini games, not only do I have to play the Max C mini game, you have to play the Lancey mini game. That's just it might be worth it in the long run if you like just do a statistical analysis on whether it's worth losing to Lancia a bunch if you're playing the best deck. But like for my mental, I could not stand getting turn skipped by like 5 hand traps in everybody's deck. That was just a no. I would 100% play Ryzeal for this Duelist Cup if I could again. But yeah, for the Maliss deck list itself, I'm not gonna. There's only one card for debate like of the Maliss engine, and that is whether people want to run the 3rd White Rabbit or not. People are saying like cut White Rabbit to 2. You need more room for hand traps. I agree. At the same time, I bricked like 30 times over this weekend. Okay, like I was begging for a fucking White Rabbit in those hands. I bricked so often. Like it was. I cannot imagine cutting starters in this deck, because this deck only really has 14 good starters to begin with, between the Administer cards and the Maliss cards, even if you include the White Rabbit at 3. So the people cutting it to 2, to me, that's insane to me. I cannot fathom bricking any more with this deck. But yeah, in exchange, I did only run like 2 March Hare because if I wanted the extra hand trap room, I just cut the March Hare down to 2. Most people, I think, cut March Hare to 2 for the most part. It's unlike every other Maliss name. March Hare is not a starter unless you open it with MTP, and then this is the most down bad combo in the entire game. Those who play Maliss extensively will know the combo of normal summon March Hare, activate MTP, banish the March Hare to add the Dormouse, and then add the March Hare back to hand to banish the Dormouse in your hand to play that way. That is the most down bad combo in the entire game that you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, that's not pretty. But other than that specific scenario, March Hare is usually not a starter. So yeah, that's why I cut it to 2. It's an extender, but again, this deck has a lot of extenders already in between Gold Star, Maliss, and Underground, and like you do run Call by and Cross out too. These are technically pseudo extenders because hand traps. Why do hand traps need to resolve for the player going second? It's not like the player going first has a massive advantage already or something. But yeah, the only thing I will say is that I have no idea what hand traps I should have ran this in this format. Like you can see my hand trap lineup, it's all over the fucking place. Like I had no idea. Okay, besides 2 Max C, sorry. Besides 2 Max C and 3 Ash Blossom, I had no idea what to run. I tried everything. I tried Imperms, Impulses, Lancias, Malcharmies, Nibiru, Droll. Everything else besides Max C was just different flavors of shit. Okay, like again, Lancia, great against Maliss. You're gonna draw this against Ryzeal a shit ton, and you're gonna want to die. Okay, same thing with Dominus Impulse. Dominus Impulse is like barely better than Lancia versus Ryzeal. In fact, I would argue it's not even better than Lancia, because Lancia can at least stop the call by versus Ryzeal, whereas Dominus Impulse has one target in Ryzeal, which is Ice Ryzeal. And if you do Ice Ryzeal and they lead Ice Ryzeal, you don't even want to use it because then it turns off all your other hand traps. Like it turns off potential like Drolls and like Nibirus and like Lancia, which I guess you wouldn't care anyways. Imagine playing Dominus Impulse and Artifact Lancia and then queuing against Ryzeal. Okay, you're gonna literally leave the game immediately when they special X. Okay, I did that quite a few times actually. But yeah, so these cards were, again, the problem is that they're only good against 1 to 2 decks. Droll is the opposite issue. Droll is good against Ryzeal. Absolutely does nothing versus Maliss. In fact, Maliss will run this themselves to Droll Max C. So like I would also open Droll, and I was expecting my opponent to go 7 Tachyon, the Dream, but instead they normal summon Dormouse, and this card does absolute jack shit the normal summon Dormouse. So I guess. So yeah, I just didn't know where to go between these. I know I had to run some amount of these cards, but like, because they were too good against the matchups they were good against, but they were also way too bad against the matchups they were bad against. Then I tried Nibiru. Nibiru is also, like, Nibiru and Imperm are like sort of different in that they can be effective against both decks. not by themselves. These cards are absolutely useless by themselves. Nibiru by itself will do absolutely nothing. The Infirm by itself will do absolutely nothing. You have to pair these with other hand traps. So it's still like, it's still a problem. So then I looked into mulch armies. Fuelos is probably the only hand trap that by itself can do something significant to both Maliss and Ryzeal consistently. And Fuelos also pairs well with Infirm, because when you Fuelos your Ryzeal opponent, they're gonna just make a huge detonator, or they're gonna make a Babushka, and then drawing into an Infirm off the Fuelos helps you out the minimal board they're likely making. But the problem with Fuelos and Perulia, which I didn't even fucking ran Perulia because of the Ryzeal matchup was so fucking down bad when you go only second a lot of the time. The problem with these is that when you get hit by the Charmies yourself, and you have Charmies in hand, that just lowers your win rate going first. It's so dumb, because you do your play, or you try to summon a monster, your opponent Fueloses you, your opponent Perulias you. Well, Perulia you can play through because you're Maliss, but they Fuelos you. You obviously don't want to do your full combo under Fuelos. That's way too many draws. But then it's like you have the Fuelos in your hand, but you can't fucking use because you went first, and now you have a card on field. So I lost a shit ton of games where I would just get max seed and Fuelos, and then in my hand I would have my own Fuelos, which I can't fucking use. And if this was any other hand trap, it would have at least helped me, like more Infirms or more Nibirus. But no, instead it was fucking Fuelos. But also Fuelos is like the only hand trap that actually does stuff against both decks by itself. So you feel like you have to run it. But then this is like the problem everyone has in this fucking format. There's no cards you can play that's good in all situations. Like every non-engine you decide to play has some shitty situation where it's like terrible, and you're gonna be in that situation like a lot this format. So yeah, at the end of the day, I had no idea what to play. You can probably guess by like my 3 1-ofs and like my 4 1-of hand traps and 2 2-of hand traps, because I didn't know what to fucking play. Yeah, and then onto the extra deck. So the extra deck, we'll make this quick. There's 13 cards in here that every Maliss deck runs probably, and like probably don't need to really discuss them. It's Almirage, Wingarebo, Endecoder, Cyber's Wicked, Slash Mage, SP, Decode, Talker, Heat Soul. Sorry, my bad. We'll get to this later. Not Heat Soul, but SP, Red Ransom, White Binder, Cryptor, Firewall, Appaloosa, Access Code, and Allied Code Talker. These are probably the 13 cards that you'll see in every Maliss deck. There's 2 flex spots. The flex spots I put are Link Spider and Decode Talker, Heat Soul. So Link Spider, basically, if you run Link Spider, Nibiru is gonna never do anything to you. So as long as you commit 1 slot in your extra deck to Link Spider, Nibiru is basically a dead hand trap by itself. It will never affect your end board by itself. It has to be paired with another hand trap, otherwise it does nothing. So just having the Link Spider in here for free means that you always play through Nibiru. So I thought that was worth it. The 15th slot is Decode Talker. I put in Heat Soul. A lot of people put in Transcode instead. You can run either Code Talker here, Transcode, or Heat Soul, because this is essentially what you make when you get Lancet and you have it like a backup administer. It's your plan B. You obviously can't do your Maliss plays under Lancet, so instead you either make a Transcode Talker that with an allied code so that the Transcode Talker protects your allied code, or you make a Heat Soul. I personally prefer making Heat Soul because there's a situation, like besides getting Lancet, there's a situation where you don't only open any Maliss starters, and you have to do the play where you normal summon a hand trap and special backup administer. If your backup administer gets hand trapped there, like it gets Ast or Infirm, that means you technically don't have any Maliss names. You don't have any follow up because you normal summon the hand trap and special backup. You didn't start with any Maliss plays. So in that scenario, by making Heat Soul, you at least draw 2 cards. That way you ensure that you have follow up for the next turn, so that you actually draw into Maliss engine. Whereas if you that situation would happen and you print Transcode Talker, you would have a negate with Allied Code, but you wouldn't have any Maliss plays. So even if you live to the next turn, you're not guaranteed to have plays. Whereas I at least like Heat Soul, if I don't open Maliss plays and I get a hand trap in the backup, I at least still threaten to play Maliss on my turn 3 if I make it there. And yeah, I made Heat Soul a few times. I didn't really miss Transcode. I didn't really utilize Heat Soul that much either, but that's because I didn't draw backup as much when I fucking got Lancia as much as I think I should have. But theoretically, like, you got to run one of these for the Lancia backup. So like, take your choice, either Hitsu or Transco, either works. When I'm not playing is Haggard Lizardos. This card is unnecessary because anything Haggard Lizardos does, SP Little Knight does. Okay, like the point of Haggard is to banish your Malice Names Engraved. SP already does that. Okay, so if you're already running SP, there's no need to run Haggard. There's no need to run Lizardos. Like, you're gonna make SP most of the time over Lizard anyways. So like, yeah, I never missed this Haggard Lizardos a single time. Anytime I needed to banish something from my grave, I just made SP, and it was completely fine. And I didn't feel the need for Lizard. And I think a lot of people felt this way too, and that's why they ended up hunting Lizardos. So yeah, that's basically the deck profile. And anyways, I promise you, like, I played 400 games. Majority of my games were not good, but there were a few good games that I saved as replays. So we can we can watch some of them now. So the first replay, and I'm really sorry. I think all of these replays are against either Maliss or Ryzeal. That's just how it is when 70% of my matchups are those two decks. But yeah, this hand. So I'm gonna normal summon White Rabbit, and we're gonna get Lancia. So fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, because we went backup at against her, we can actually do something under Lancia. We can make a Linkuriboh and then special backup, and then use backup effect, and then they ash this, which, you know, fair. You ash this, it means I can't get access to Wizard, so I don't get like 2 extra bodies. But because we have a Malice in grave, I can go Splash Mage to revive White Rabbit, and then we go into Red Ransom, and then Red Ransom searches Malice in the Mirror, and I set Malice in the Mirror. And then this is, again, this is, keep in mind, you got Lancia this game, and we got hit by Ash, and you still end on 2 interruptions. A banish plus a negate. And you know, technically 2 hand traps, but really 1 hand trap plus a Perulia. And I will say, keep an eye on this Perulia. Okay, so my opponent is gonna special summon X, and when they special summon X, I had 1 goal in mind. Okay, my 1 goal in mind was I was trying to make this Malcharming Perulia live, despite having 3 cards on the field. There was a line to make this Perulia live. I just had to find a way to do it cleanly. So my opponent specials X'd, and I ashed it first because I didn't want to spend that long thinking. So like, I used the ash on the X, maybe, you know, see what kind of response they have, and then that bought me some time to figure out how to fucking get this Red Ransom off the field. And eventually I came up with with this line where my opponent was gonna summon another Ryzeal monster. I was going to I was gonna Malice in the Mirror, negate their second Ryzeal monster, chain MTP, banish their X. That way, the mirror would banish my Red Ransom on the field, and the MTP would be off the field as well, and my board would be cleared. And the reason I didn't do that on the X is because if I do Malice in the Mirror and then I chain MTP, the MTP would banish the X Ryzeal, and then my Malice in the Mirror would not negate the X Ryzeal. So that's like just kind of bad value right there. So I had to wait for him to get a second body on board. And their second body was a fucking Malcharming Perulia. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to negate the fucking Perulia, because why the fuck would I negate a Perulia? We got Perulia battles over here. So instead, I am going to use MTP. I'm just going to use MTP to banish the X, then it gets ashed anyway. So that's like, well, fuck me, I guess. Double Ash got kind of cooked me there. I don't get the banish, and they're going to go into Infernal Flame Banshee. So on the Flame Banshee summon, here I'm going to finally, they gave me a monster negate. So I'm going to negate the Malice in the Mirror, and now I'm trying to get the Red Ransom on the field. Finally, after all this time, I fucking cleared my board, and now I get to draw the Malcharming Perulia on them. And I feel like they didn't see that coming. So yeah, the Perulia dropped on the Ryzeal monster, on a Ryzeal opponent after I already have 3 cards on board. You know, the sneak attack surprise Perulia. And then, you know, I get the Red Ransom and the White Rabbit follow up, and I get Malice on the ground, and I get White Rabbit, and set the GWC. And now if my opponent wants to play the game, they're gonna have to give me draws off Perulia, so that's cool. They're gonna go into Dual Drive. which is fucking brave, by the way. They're under Perulia, and they just choose to go with the dual drive instead of just going straight into Detonator. So they're gonna add Cross, which is understandable. But then they also add Sword Ryzeal and activate Cross. You know, get a draw. Then Special Sword, give me another draw, and then add Star Ryzeal, and Star Ryzeal give me another draw. So yeah, their choice was either make Detonator and give me 0 more draws, or give me like no extra draws, or make a dual drive and give me 2 extra draws. But they also get Ryzeal Cross with Star Ryzeal, so I could see both. I can see merit to both lines. But yeah, they're gonna set Plasma. So they have Plasma Hole plus Detonator plus Ryzeal Cross, and they're also gonna clear my board because they didn't use battle phases. They're gonna attack, and then it's gonna pass back to me, and main phase 2, before they end, I'm gonna try to summon out my March Hare. The reason is so they're going to pop my GWC, which I can't activate, so that's unfortunate. My GWC is gone. I'm gonna summon March Hare, and they don't negate it. So that was that's good. That's good for me, not good for my opponent. So I'm going to banish the Mirror, which is insane, by the way. Mirror banished, White Rabbit, add the Dormouse to hand, and then pass back to me. And now it's my turn. And now I activate Maliss in the Underground, and they Ryzeal Detonator, pop the Maliss in the Underground. It's fine. They have like 1 more material on the Detonator. Now they have to decide that they want to pop with Detonator or negate with the Cross. And my turn. I'm going to go to Link Decoder, and I'm going to special Wizard Administer target White Rabbit, and they're going to expend their final Detonator on the Link Decoder. So I know you get seasoned Maliss players should probably be like, there was an easy way to handle this, and I finally realized it now. But yeah, they don't do anything, by the way. They don't do anything. Pro tip: when you're a Ryzeal player and a Maliss player has 2 cards on board, 2 monsters on board, always pop the monsters with Plasma Hole. Okay, always pop 2 monsters with Plasma Hole, because if you don't, this happens. Cyber's Wicked. Text: this Link summon card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Cyber's monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects. What does this mean? It means Plasma Hole is now completely dead, and Ryzeal Detonator is completely dead. Well, I mean, it's dead either way because it has no materials anymore anyways. But just hypothetically, if it did have materials, it wouldn't do anything. So now I get to play the game. I get to summon Dormouse, summon Chessy Cat. Then I do all these plays. I get to even banish a Red Ransom to search a fucking backup against and special summon the Red Ransom, which they're free to pop the Red Ransom. Like they realized their fuck up and they left after. Yeah, that was. There's a lot happened in that game. The Lancia, the Perulia, the cleared board for Perulia, and then finally the Cyber's Wicked. So here's a game where we're going second, opening 0 hand traps versus player, and player starts with Sword Ryzeal. So yeah, this is unfortunate for us, but also unfortunate for them, because Sword Ryzeal is actually not a good starter. Sword Ryzeal is the worst starter in the deck by far, and like the end board is not going to be as strong as if they started with X. So at least that's why I say in the game. Number one, I hard drew Maliss in the Mirror, so Maliss in the Mirror isn't out the Detonator, so that's cool. And their end board is not going to be too crazy. They're not going to make Starleech Bagooska stuff. If they made Starleech Bagooska, this hand would be fucking cooked, because I wouldn't be able to target the fucking Bagooska with Maliss in the Mirror. But what they're doing right now, it's mostly fine. I can play through this. But yeah, they're going to shuffle back, draw Node Ryzeal, send the X, summon back Sword, and they're just going to make a 3 material Detonator, and my bad, a 4 material Detonator, set 3 with a Plasma Hole plus a Cross. So like this is still a lot. This is a lot to deal with. Thankfully, I drew Maliss in the Mirror. So Maliss in the Mirror is going to remove basically almost all of the Ryzeal Detonator's material. So I am going to lead with Mirror, banishing the Chessy Cat, and they're going to pop themselves so that they can revive the Ryzeal Detonator with plugin. But when they revive with plugin, it's only going to have 1 material instead of 4. So I got rid of 3 materials off the Detonator. And that's also neat because that means they have to choose between popping with the Detonator or popping with the Ryzeal Cross. And I get ashed, and then they're going to chain Ryzeal plugin on the Detonator, and I was debating whether I should cross out Designator or not. This was a mistake. You saw me. I didn't chain Designator to the Ash because I was still thinking of whether I should whether I should cross out the Ash, and I should not have crossed out the Ash. I should save this cross out. Okay, I should save this for Imperm. Imperm hurts more than Ash Blossom. In fact, this Ash Blossom, like first of all, let's look at the cards I draw off the fucking Chessy Cat. Okay, I have to manage one of my 2 mirrors in hand, and Ash gets negated, and I draw 2 cards, and I draw. I draw White Rabbit and GWC. Essentially, these are 2 dead cards because like I already normal. Well, no, so the Rabbit is okay. The GWC, the GWC is pointless. It was like I basically didn't. I drew 1 useful card off the Chessy Cat, and I didn't even need to draw the White Rabbit, to be honest. But yeah, either way, they have 2 material now on the Detonator. I'm gonna normal summon White Rabbit, and you notice I don't use the effect because I'm trying to not trigger the Detonator, and I'm gonna make Wicked. Okay. Again, the play in the Ryzeal boards with Maliss, always make Cybers Wicked. Wicked checks the Detonator and it checks the Plasma Hole. And then I'm gonna special backup adding insert. They're gonna chain Detonator, target the Cybers Wicked, and then they're going to chain Imperm. So the one card that Wicked doesn't check, unfortunately, is Imperm. You can see why I should have saved the crossout, because if I had saved the crossout for this Imperm, this game would just be over right now, straight up. Instead of we're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to play through this stuff. So my my backup adding insert gets negated, and I lose my Cybers Wicked, which is kind of rough. Fortunately, I have one more extender in hand, which is Malice in the Underground. One more push, and I special summon Dormouse. Dormouse effect, banish March Hare. March Hare, add March Hare to hand. See if they have anything else. It appears they do not have a Plasma Hole, which is good. So now I get the Link Decoder special March Hare, and then they just... Yeah, it's... Thankfully, like, I was able to, despite my misplay, we were able to play through that board because normal starting Sword Ryzeal does not make the best board. But yeah, we also did open no hand trap that game too. But yeah, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win most games versus Ryzeal going second. So you gotta win the ones that you can. Yeah, so this game basically just shows how fucking stupid Maliss is as a deck. Like I'm sure you need me to tell you that, but you're gonna start with Fool Loss, which I actually don't cross out the Fool Loss because I have a Droll in hand, and you save the cross out for an actual more impactful hand trap like Maxi or Lancia. So in fact, this Lancia is gonna go away. So now I'm still under Fool Loss, but look how stupid this is. So we're gonna summon Dormouse. Dormouse. Special Chessy Cat specials doesn't draw under Fool Loss. Use Chessy Cat effect. I'm gonna draw 2 cards, and then I'm gonna get the March Hare back. Still no draws under Fool Loss, and I also drew into Gold Sark, which is this is really important. This lets me do almost my full combo under Droll, because the only thing Droll would cut me off of if I Droll myself is the Malice is the Red Ransom search for Malice in Underground. But since I drew Gold Sark is basically just Malice in the Underground, so that means I can do my full combo now, without any more searches. So I'm going to spit Link off into Link Decoder, and I'm just going to Droll and Lockbird, and now no more draws for my opponent, and now I special March Hare. Dormouse summons back as well. Maybe I shouldn't have summoned back the Dormouse because that played in the Nibiru. Maybe I should have linked off the Chessy Cat and then banished Chessy Cat for the March Hare. That way I wouldn't waste a banish on the Dormouse, and the Chessy Cat I would still be under 4 summons. So then I would still be playing under Nibiru. I did play into Nibiru there. That was probably a misplay actually. So yeah, you might in future reference link off the Chessy Cat and banish Chessy Cat from the March Hare. That way you'd retain the Dormouse banish special summon deck, and you also don't play into Nibiru. But anyways, my opponent didn't have it, so never punished. But yeah, we go into Red Ransom and then Link Decoder, and we link off Link Decoder and Red Ransom into Appaloosa, because again I have the Gold Sark, so I get the Gold Sark, banish the Malice in the Mirror, or sorry, not the Malice in the Mirror, the Malice in the White Rabbit. You obviously do not banish Malice in the Mirror under Droll. That's dumb. You would not be able to search with Malice in the Mirror. Don't do that. I would banish White Rabbit instead. White Rabbit specials and then sets GWC, and I'm gonna link off the Chessy Cat, and because I drew a Wizard Administrator, I do have an extra extender too as well. So now we get 4 bodies. With 4 bodies, you go into Heart Scripter first, and then you link off Heart Scripter plus an extra body into Splash Mage. Splash Mage revive a Malice name. Then you go into White Binder, and then check out this White Binder. I'm gonna White Binder, banish Heart Scripter, Red Ransom, and Dormouse. Get Red Ransom back and Heart Scripter back, and then Dormouse stays banished for Heart Scripter Father. And yeah, I also banished another Dormouse, so I have like 2 banished Dormouses, which is very funny. But this is what I mentioned, where you could have preserved the Dormouse special probably later on to play better into Namiru, but regardless, we're gonna do GWC, revive one of the Dormouses, then summon back the White Binder, and then the White Binder is gonna reset the GWC, and then we're going to link Card Scripter plus Dormouse into Firewall Dragon. I'm gonna go Firewall. I'm gonna add back my Droll, add back Marsh Hare, and add back Wizard, adding this for follow up, and then we're going to go Ally Code, summon back Red Ransom, and then pass. And this is the end board. So this is the end board after drolling myself. The only thing Droll cut me off, the only thing this entire combo Droll cut me off of was the one draw off White Binder summoning himself back. I did the entire 1-card Dormouse line pretty much under Droll. I even drew 2 cards off the Chessy Cat because I drew the Chessy Cat. I Chessy Catted early. So yeah, like I would not blame you if you saw this board and you thought my opponent didn't hand trap me, or if you thought I didn't droll myself, because like how would you be able to tell if I drolled myself or not just by looking at this? But yeah, my opponent is also playing Ryzeal, so number one, I have a droll in hand for Ryzeal anyway. So like if things go to shit, I can just drop this droll. But I forget I have a droll in hand, and I just negate the X Ryzeal with Appaloosa, because the Appaloosa was gonna get negated anyways. So like, you know, I might as well use it for value before it gets negated by the aggregator. But yeah, then you're gonna summon Ice, which Ice I'm just going to Ally Code, you know, get that body off the field, force you to have an extra extender to play the game, and they're going to use Ryzeal plugin, revive the Ice that I just banished, and I'm gonna GWC. And they're going to try to call by the White Binder, which is not going to work because, again, we added Marsh Hare back to our hand with Firewall. Because Firewall lets us do that. We can discard hand traps willy-nilly and add them back with the fucking Firewall Dragon during the combo. God, this deck needs to fucking... This deck needs to die. I do not want to play this deck anymore after this weekend. So this is a game where we're going second, and we open Droll, which is a good hand trap versus Ryzeal. Guess what my opponent's playing? Yeah, there's a funny looking Ryzeal card here. This is the problem, the format right here. We gotta play cards like this that are quite dog into the other matchup. So yeah, they're gonna Gold Sark for the Marsh Hare, and then this is essentially just normal one card Dormouse combo. With the White Rabbit and Marsh Hare instead. So now they're going to go Red Ransom, and then Link Decoder, add Maliss Underground, and I droll them. And then this Droll, what this Droll does is it cuts them off of the Chessy Cat draw, and it cuts them off of the White Binder draw. So it does get rid of 3 draws, but it doesn't really do much to their board, so that's still going to be a little bit of a problem. I fortunately do open Malice the Mirror in hand. Malice the Mirror is like low-key like just a really great card going second, because this is just an easy way to just bait out an interruption for free. And yeah, they're going to go into Dormouse, banish the Chessy Cat, and now they're going to go into Splash Mage into White Binder. So the good news is that their line, the Droll apparently stopped them from going into Heart Scripter. So they can still do all this stuff. They can still, you know, summon back the Red Ransom, gain some life points, summon back the White Binder, reach the GWC. But yeah, they're not gonna have the Heart Scripter because they chose to make Ally Code Talker instead. So you, in this line, you can either choose to make Ally Code for a Omni Negate, or you can make a what's it called, the Heart Scripter for a banish. But they didn't set up their graveyard, their banish pile. They didn't banish a lot of stuff with White Binder, so they're just gonna settle with a Ally Code Talker plus Appaloosa plus GWC set with a White Binder and Grave, which is through my Droll. Yeah, I'm glad that Droll did a lot. That Droll certainly did help against his end board. But yeah, now it's my turn. Thank you, by the way. This is why I cut down Droll, because this shit happens way too often. Opening fucking double Droll versus Maliss, like Jesus Christ, bro. This is so This is so terrible. But yeah, I'm gonna normal summon Malice, P White Rabbit, set the GWC. They let that go, so then I'm gonna just Gold Sark then for Chizzy Cat, and I'm basically trying to bait something out so that I can Malice in the Mirror it. But I also want to get a Malice monster in graveyard for Malice in the Mirror, so you'll see. But I'm gonna go Chizzy Cat, link off the Chizzy Cat and Lingerevo. This way, this Lingerevo checks their GWC. It kind of checks it. It's a fake check because they still have Appaloosa up and they still have an ally code. So if I ever want to Lingerevo their back row, they can just negate it with Appaloosa. It's still not really a real out. This is like this is a very fake out. But now I activate Malice in the Underground, banish Dormouse. They're letting me play, by the way. They're letting this go. They're not negating shit. So I'm gonna summon Dormouse, then they're gonna activate Appaloosa. And here I'm gonna chain Malice in the Mirror, targeting the Appaloosa, and then they're gonna chain Ally Code Talker. This is why you want a monster engrave before you use Malice in the Mirror in this matchup, in the Malice Mirror, because if they ever negate your Ally Code Talker, if they ever want to use Ally Code Talker to negate the Malice in the Mirror, this is what happens. So chain resolves, the Ally Code negates the Malice in the Mirror gets banished. Keep that in mind. Appaloosa negates my Dormouse, but because my Malice in the Mirror got banished by their Ally Code Talker, thank you very much for doing my job for me. So Ally Code Talker on banishing the Ally Code Talker negating the Malice in the Mirror is actually a liability sometimes, because this will trigger my mirror to banish my Chizzy Cat engrave, and then they're gonna chain their, for some reason, their Lingerevo before. So before the Lingerevo summons back, I'm going to chain GWC as well. So I'm going to chain GWC, summon back the Dormouse that was negated from coming back. They're going to summon back the Lingerevo, which now does not do anything. I get to banish the Chizzy Cat, add the March Hare to hand, and then the White Rabbit also gets banished by the GWC, so it summons back. Now I can use Dormouse now, and they're going to let the Dormouse go. They're holding this Appaloosa. So now I get to add the Chizzy Cat back to hand, which admittedly doesn't do anything. I'm going to go into Link Decoder. They're going to go GWC summon back the White Binder, banish their 3 Malice monsters. They're going to, do this stuff. They're going to get their stuff back. I'm going to chain March Hare, banishing my own Dormouse to get an extra body on the field before shit hits the fan. But they're going to get the White Rabbit. They're going to get Red Ransom. They're going to get Dormouse back. They're going to add Malice in the Mirror. They're going to set the MTP. And now I check. This is very funny. I'm going to Droll them because they added a card off of the rare instance of Droll being useful, but because they add a card off the Red Ransom, this lets me Droll them on my turn. This way, this forces them to use MTP, because if they don't, you chain MTP to this, Droll prevents them from using MTP, because MTP adds a card to hand. So they have to use MTP right now. So which they do. And then you want to guess what happened? Yeah. Time limit. The really good games often don't get to conclude because they often end with someone timing out. Unfortunately, would we have been able to play through that board with I would have negated the MTP with Lingerevo. They would have negated my Lingerevo with Appaloosa. They would have banished the second card. I would have gone to Splash Mage. I would have done more plays. We would have had a sort of a game there, but they ran out of time. So, yeah. They spent too long trying to think of the line through Droll. Alright, so this is a kind of a crazy Malice versus Malice game. And the reason why it's crazy, it will become obvious, but I'm going to normal summon Dormouse, banish March Hare, add March Hare, and then I get Fuwood. So this is why it's a crazy game, because I get Fuwood, I don't make the full Malice end board. Therefore, we make honestly, it's more of like a quarter board, and then, because I don't make the full board, then we have a game on our hands. But yeah, I'm going to special White Rabbit. Unfortunately, I had the Chizzy Cat in hand already, so I normal summoned the Dormouse, and I probably should have normal summoned the Chizzy Cat to better play around Maxi, or to better play around Maxi and Droll, because then I could get the draw off Chizzy Cat. But then that also plays into Ash, so if I get Ash from the Chizzy Cat, that's also not as good. But I did have a Gold Sark in hand, so I guess I could have played that anyway. So I guess I should have started with Chizzy Cat, but instead, because I'm dumb, I don't get the draws off the Chizzy Cat, so that's unfortunate. I do get Red Ransom, and Red Ransom add Malice in the Mirror, and I have NTP plus Mirror set, and I have And guess what? I have a most charming Fool Loss hand. I have a most charming hand. Guess what's gonna happen? So yeah, I'm gonna Dormouse, and they're gonna Dormouse banish March Hare, add March Hare to hand, and they're gonna link into a Linkuriboh, which like I probably should have flipped the MTP earlier because, you know, it doesn't feel good MTPing the Dormouse just to summon back Dormouse, but at the same time, it also doesn't feel good getting your MTP banished by Linkuriboh either. Like it trades they get one less body, but you also get one less follow up. So it's kind of weird in that way. But they're gonna use Maliss Underground, and here I'm gonna Maliss Underground, and they're going to chain Linkuriboh. And you might be wondering why I'm not using Max E first, because no, we're trying to make this Fool Loss live, okay? If something's gonna tank a hand trap, if something's gonna tank a Call by the Grave, it's gonna be the Fool Loss first, not the Max E. No, we protect this Max E at all costs. Protect it with our life. So now they're gonna summon Chase again. And finally, they gave me something good to banish with Malice Mirror, because I had to use the MTP first, okay? In all these scenarios, I had to get the MTP off the field before I could use Malice Mirror, because Malice Mirror clears my field, but if I had an MTP on the field still, I still couldn't Fool Loss. So after I got rid of the MTP, now I can Malice Mirror safely, and then when the Red Ransom comes back, now I chain Fool Loss now that my board is clear. So again, that's how to make Fool Loss, how to make a Mulch Army live when you have a board still. But my opponent has the Call by the Grave. So what did I say? Protect this Max E of your life. I knew that they had a Call by the Grave. They were gonna Call by the Mulch Army Fool Loss. So now the Red Ransom comes back, and now I get the March Hare. And I get the March Hare to hand, and the Red Ransom also surges me a follow-up. Malice Underground, the Royal one. And here, they go March Hare, and I finally reveal I have Maxi. After all that convoluted play, after my opponent special summoned like 3 times, I finally get the Maxi off. Just so it would resolve. And then they're going to summon White Rabbit, and unfortunately, I get fucking Drolled. And that is bad. And you might be noticing, a Gamma here? Yes. At one point, I was so down bad. You know why I put in Gamma? It was not for going second. It was not a hand trap. I put it in here just to fucking Gamma Lancia. That's how frustrated I was at getting fucking Lancia. It was so bad. But you're gonna see this Gamma here. Okay, so I draw in the Gamma when I have a monster on board, which fucking sucks. And they're under Droll, but they can't try to find a lethal line because I'm not gonna draw any more cards. So they're gonna go into Link Decoder, and they're gonna go to Red Ransom, and then the Link Decoder comes back. And they can't search anything because they're under Droll, but they're gonna go into Access Code. Okay, Access Code, banish the Red Ransom, target the Red Ransom, banish the Red Ransom, banish the Red Ransom, and then, boy, this is the most clutch Gamma you will ever see in your life. Clear my only monster, my Red Ransom. They're gonna try to special back the Red Ransom and get fucking Gammaed for your life. No more links you can banish from your graveyard. The Gamma's here to stay. I live a turn, and they know. They're cooked because they Drolled themselves. They have no more follow-up. I have Malice Underground plus March Hare in hand. I'm gonna win until next turn. That was the dumbest fucking hand trap game I've ever. I've never. Imagine resolving Fool Loss and Maxi. Imagine resolving Fool Loss and Gamma in the same duel where you went first and had like a monster and had like 2 monsters on board, or you had a monster on board. So yeah, I don't think I've ever done that in my life with any deck. So yeah. All right, so there's a little bit of a crazy combo line in this game. But yeah, we're going first, and my opponent Mulch me and Perulia's me, and I seriously consider ashing the fucking Perulia because Perulia. This is a hand where Perulia will literally draw them 4 cards, which is like, that's not ideal. But I hold it because, like, you have to hold it because Malice Underground for Dormouse, special Dormouse, and they have Maxi. You just have to hold it for Maxi. It feels so bad letting Perulia go in this hand because this hand has both White Rabbit and Wizard, and it's like, at the very least I can mitigate the White Rabbit, but the Wizard, if I want to use the Wizard as another draw, that's kind of ugly. I'm gonna go Dormouse. Dormouse gets infirmed, which sucks because I was going to go Dormouse for Chessy Cat special, Chessy Cat banish White Rabbit, special White Rabbit, get 3 bodies on the field without something from the hand once, but the fucking infirm made me normal summon the White Rabbit. Now that I'm gonna White Rabbit set MTP because I think this is a MTP line. This is This is the Maliss Underground line, because you already used Maliss Underground, so you can't go Red Ransom Search or another Maliss Underground, obviously, so you have to set MTP for this line, I think. So I'm going to go GWC, summon back the White Rabbit, go into Red Ransom, I'm going to add Mirror, because like I already used Maliss Underground. I'm going to use Maliss MTP, banish the Red Ransom, add the Marcher to hand, and then I'm going to use Red Ransom, banish Chessy Cat, special Chessy Cat, and now we're going to use Chessy Cat to banish the Maliss and the Mirror out of my hand. And I was going to, but then I get ashed. By the way, this is the fourth hand trap. The fourth hand trap this turn. Calm down, Satan. And then I'm going to special March here. So I give him another draw of Perulia. This Perulia has drawn them 3 cards already. This is like so... wow. It's like so not good. Actually, that was either the second or the third draw. So I had to normal summon White Rabbit and then Special Marcher. So that was 2 draws. Okay, so this Perulia has been a positive read for them already. I'm gonna go into Heart Scripper because I gotta shuffle back the MTP. So I'm gonna Link the Holder summons back as well. I'm gonna special Wizard Administer, summoning back the Chessy Cat. So now this is their Perulia has drawn them 3 cards, which is like so not ideal. I'm gonna go use White Miner now. White Miner banish Heart Scripter, and unfortunately they're gonna Veiler me. So yeah, that's 5 hand traps, by the way. It took 5 hand traps to stop Maliss. Granted, it's basically 4 hand traps because one of them was a maxi that got negated. So 4 hand traps that resolved in order to get me to stop this point. Because I was gonna go White Binder, banish Heart Scripter, shuffle back the MTP, manage White Binder, all that stuff. I can't do that anymore. I don't got shit anymore. All I have is a Maliss and Mirror now. But I'm gonna do this crazy line. So like, I'm still gonna get this MTP. Okay, this MTP, it's coming back for you. So they're gonna normal summon Ice Ryzeal. By the way, always open Lancia versus Ryzeal. By the way, it's just a rule. But yeah, on the Ice Ryzeal summon, I'm going to Maliss the Mirror. I'm gonna banish my White Binder. Okay, so now I'm gonna banish White Binder, special summon back the White Binder. White Binder is going to banish Heart Scripter, Hair plus what's it called, the Red Ransom. Add the March Hair back to hand. Special back Red Ransom plus Heart Scripter, Red Ransom, banish the White Rabbit, and then add the Underground, summon back White Rabbit effect, and on the White Rabbit effect, I'm going to chain Heart Scripter, and I'm going to put the fucking MTP back into my deck on Chain Link 2, and banish the Ice Ryzeal. That way, this White Rabbit effect can now reset the MTP that I just shuffled back 1 chain link higher. So now I have the MTP live. So yeah, that entire convoluted line was to get the MTP back into my deck so that I could set it off White Rabbit on my opponent's turn. I just, I planned to do that on my turn, but instead I had to do all of that during my opponent's turn. But that's just Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Then they're gonna add a 7th Ass into 7th Tachyon, and then 7th Tachyon into an X Ryzeal, put 1 back. They have 2 cards in hand, by the way. They have 2 cards in hand. We're gonna special X Ryzeal and add the Sword Ryzeal. I don't do anything to this yet. They're gonna special Sword Ryzeal, and then Sword Ryzeal add another Ice Ryzeal. They're gonna go into 8 Exciton Knight, which is like fair. If you're gonna, there's no point making a dual drive because the dual drive is gonna get destroyed by the MTP. So you might as well just clear the field, right? Go into Exciton. Exciton clears the board, which I'm gonna chain MTP, banish the White Rabbit, and I'm gonna banish the Exciton Knight just because at Dormouse hand. And like I'm fine with this. Like the entire field is gone, but my hand is full, and they have 2 cards, so they can go Ryzeal Cross, draw 2 cards, and draw into nothing because they already used all their extension. They used Ice Ryzeal normal summon, they used X Ryzeal, they used Sword Ryzeal special summon. So like they couldn't even make a rank 4, and I have full follow up because that's just, not only is the Maliss end board, not only do I have like that many interruptions, not only do I potentially draw, not only did I play through 5 hand traps, but I also have all this follow up for next turn if you can't kill me. Which, in case you didn't notice, I had a field full of 5 monsters. It's pretty hard to kill me through that. Alright, so this is a game where we're going first, and I normal summon Dormouse, and we get hit by the Lancia. So now we're doing the Lancia play with the backup Ignister in hand, where we don't get hand trapped on the backup at Ignister. So backup is gonna add Wizard, and we're gonna pitch the Gold Sark because it's useless. We're gonna special Gold Sark, special Gold Sark. What the fuck am I talking about? Special Wizard reviving a name. Go into Link Decoder, go into Red Ransom. Red Ransom will add us Malice Underground for follow-up because I already have the Malice and Mirror in hand, so like that should be an obvious tell. No, we're doing the Lucas Sacco here, where we search Malice and Underground with Red Ransom. The only difference is that we actually play Malice in the Mirror in hand, and we actually have the Malice in the Mirror in hand, so you know there's no bluffing there. But we go into Splash Mage now with the remaining 2 monsters, including Link Decoder, and then revive the Door Mouse and go into Heat Soul, and now it's Heat Soul, Red Ransom, and then set Mirror. So this is okay. Thankfully, we drew into a hand trap off of the Heat Soul with the Ash Blossom, and yeah, next my opponent's turn, we draw getting off Heat Soul, drawing the GWC. Do not like. I like drawing I like drawing the Ash Blossom. I do not like drawing the GWC. But yeah, my opponent. Guess what? They're playing fucking Ryzeal again. That's so many fucking X I've seen this entire game. This entire fucking cup. So here I'm gonna Malice in the Mirror, negate the X. The logic of this is that we're gonna negate the first Ryzeal name with Mirror, and then we're gonna set up the MTP. And then we're also going to negate the second name with Ash. And then when they overlay into something, then we can get rid of the Exceeds with the MTP. That was the plan, right? So I'm going to Ash to Ice. And now, with the 2 bodies on the field, they use 2 Ryzeal names, like 2 extenders. Then go into Dual Drive. And here, I thought I was slick. I thought I was like, thought I was going to MTP the Ryzeal Dual Drive, and we're going to be good. And obviously, it doesn't work out that way because we got ashed. So yeah, unfortunately, the Ash plus Lancia combo does hurt because the Ash, if your opponent is smart, they can hold it for the Artifact Lancia They can hold it for the MTP. So then that way MTP, even if you have the extension for Lancia through Lancia, you only really get 1 interruption, which is the Malice in the Mirror, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah. Our opponent then resolves Ryzeal Dual Drive, which is, never what you want to... You never want Dual Drive resolving on you. That never feels good. And then they get Ryzeal Cross with the Star, and then they can draw another card. And they're going to make a Detonator with the Sword Ryzeal. Yeah, so Detonator attaches, enters battle, clears our field, unfortunately, and... what's really cool, because they drew 7th Ascension off the fucking Ryzeal Cross, which means that now they can 7th Ascension for 7th Tachyon, and then 7th Tachyon add Lancia to hand. That's fantastic. So they got they fucking get to search Lancia knowing they're playing Malice. That's wonderful. Anyways, end phase, I'm just gonna burn the material off the Detonator because I was gonna use March here to summon itself before I get Lancia on my turn, so at least burn a material off the Detonator. Maybe I'll draw something like a cross out off the top, right? I hate cross out Detonator, but I also hate Lancia. So like, get fucked, Ryzeal, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that was my top deck. Just like your top deck was 7 Tachyon to search Lancia. Unfortunately, they have Max C2, so like I can't cross out both these cards. Getting Lancia 2 turns in a row, by the way, versus Ryzeal. Very, very fun situation that totally did not happen all the time during this weekend. But yeah, I'm gonna activate Malice Underground, which baits out the Ryzeal Detonator, and now they only have 1. They can either negate with Cross or they can negate with Detonator, and they're gonna negate with Cross. So. I do have a play, so I'm going to normal summon that. Dude, I've normal summoned March Hare so many times during this weekend. Like this is not a card you're supposed to normal summon, by the way. But here we are, and I set GWC. Here's where the hard draw GWC actually came in handy because I get to banish the March Hare, and they're gonna unfortunately call by the Red Ransom, which is slightly annoying. But my grave is My grave is amply set up to where I can still revive a Dormouse and still be fine. Add the White Rabbit to hand. Don't know. I added the White Rabbit to hand because I already fucking used the March Hare, so it's like whatever. I'm going to banish the Chessy Cat now. Chessy Cat special, and then Chessy Cat is gonna banish the White Rabbit, and now the White Rabbit comes back. So that's how you get. I got access to the White Rabbit. Although I went through both traps already. So here, this is just a prey approach. I'm gonna special Agnister. I'm gonna pray my opponent doesn't draw into Nibiru. Okay. As I'm gonna go into the access code right now, and like, don't you love the part where access code can banish your Maliss monsters to pop a card, and then the Maliss Link monster special summons back? Isn't that just fucking great? So yeah, now the Heartscripter comes back, and because my opponent didn't draw Nibiru, now they're dead. Now access code literally puts up 10k damage plus clears 2 cards. Yeah, in the battle phase too, by the way. So now they, we played around Gamma, we played around. I know he's not playing Gamma, but that situation where I Gamma my opponent off the max seed, that ain't gonna happen because we're just gonna enter battle phase and then Heartscripter, shuffle back March Hare, and then manage the dual drive, and that's game. So yeah, that's how you win a game getting double Lancea. You fucking open backup Agnister plus cross out plus top deck into fucking cross out. Alright, so I never want to play this deck ever again after this Duelist Cup. Anytime I see a Maliss card, I want to throw up. I see Dormouse, I want to like toss this in the trash. Okay, I see a Lancea, it makes me want to dismantle this entire deck and never think about it again. And hopefully, Konami will make this decision easier on me with the ban list. Copium, because clearly, the ban lists have been so great this year. God, this can it really get any worse? Can it get worse? Will Konami outdo themselves again? Let's find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.